architect, American Freeport, California, to kindly share a few words.
Thank you, Saroj. Shri Dilip Oban, Shri Sanjay Sharma, Shri Satpathy, Shri Pankaj Satija, Shri Arora, honorable dignitaries, delegates, dear friends, and of course, Monica, you are the star performer. God bless you and Metalogic team for doing this. I dare not talk about steel technology. Kind of depth this room has. It would not be appropriate to talk about steel technology that leaves with small talk on innovation, the need for innovation. Let me make it a little interesting. Let me ask you a question. Academics has been the slowest moving business model globally. They say a university's balance sheet grows by 1%. That's Harvard. If you grow by 2%, you are Berkeley, where you have 15 Nobel laureates. Academics do not grow in excess of 2%. If academics is the slowest growing model, if I would ask you a question, which country had the largest number of universities in top 10 100 years back? Anybody would like to shout out? Which country had the largest number of universities in top 10 100 years back? If I would make a list of top 10 universities 100 years back, which country had the maximum number of universities? Not 100 years back. If I made it 2,000 years back, maybe Nalanda, but not 100 years back. I would have been happy to hear that. Anybody? Oxford, Cambridge, yes. Germany. Germany had the highest number of universities in top 10 100 years back. If I move that business model fast forward today, if I would ask you, collate a list of top 10 universities in the world, which country has the honors of having the maximum number of universities? Of course, the United States. How did this happen? How did this happen for a business model that is the slowest growing model in corporate history? Innovation. It was because United States innovated education. They spent and understood what are the three legs of innovation and why innovation is essential. I'm an extremely proud Indian. My roots are here. Stay in San Francisco. We have global businesses. And American Freeport is not a steel company, it's a specialty chemical company. So when we had this offer from one of the big five and they said, India does not produce electro-galvanized steel, I did not believe them. I said, it's not possible. With a capacity closer to 100 million tons, how can India not produce electro-galvanized steel? We put a team of people together, and yes, they were correct. We did not produce electro-galvanized steel. And electro-galvanized steel is no rocket science. Electro-galvanized steel is poor man's special steel. If you go forward, there are many more special techniques that we have today, but electro-galvanized steel was not rocket science. We set up India's first electro-galvanizing color tandem coating unit in Valsad, Gujarat, and that was dedicated to the country in June 2019. While doing so, I met at least 60 top professionals from the steel industry, across board. And my question was, have you worked on electro-galvanizing technology? The universal answer was, forget working on electro-galvanizing technology, no one had seen electro-galvanizing line. What is the underlying importance of innovation? Unless we innovate, we will be extinct. Innovation is not about growth. Innovation is not about invention. Innovation is about structuring future. If all of us have to write down where do we want to be in 2030, the question is what is it we do today to reach 2030? The only thing is we structure things daily, weekly, monthly. It's a box approach. Today what we do is we do quality management, we do Kaizen, we do ERP, Enterprise Resource Platform. All this is good for today. But where are we heading for tomorrow? In a matrix where a country has a per capita income of $1,800, is it fair to say what applies to the United States should apply to India? Is it fair to say what applies to Japan applies to India? Of course not. We need products that work for this country. We need innovation which is country-centric. India is a net consumptive economy. And I doubt if we can ever aim to be exporting commodity because of the way the whole economic fiscal deficit is. Immediately after World War II, what did Japan do? They said, look, we have to export. I don't care, damn, we have to export. And this is in the journal, they said. And what did they devalued yen overnight. 1955, Korea had independence. Exactly 7 years after India, what did they do? They followed the Japanese model. They said the yen went to 120 against a dollar, won goes to 1200 against a dollar, even today won is 1150. Can we afford that? So we have no choice. We have to innovate. We have to innovate on technology, we have to innovate on cost, we have to innovate on culture. Allow me to give you 3 examples of innovation that went wrong. Kellogg's is a leader in breakfast cereal technology. The CEO sits in Chicago and says, well, we've been in India for 25 years, India has not done well, but one day India will do well as far as Kellogg's is concerned. Why? Because Kellogg's believe in cereal, breakfast cereal, you add cold milk. This country eats hot breakfast. And when you put hot milk in a cereal, it might be a banana flavor or a vanilla flavor. It's a mush. Kellogg's was never successful, which is why we see Mohan Beacons come in and ram Kellogg's all the way. That was the case with Harley Davidson. They said, well, we make the best motorcycles in the world. We are from the US. We're going to sell good motorcycles here. We're going to teach Indians how to drive motorcycles. We're going to tell you what a good motorcycle is. They had showrooms in Bangalore, in Gurgaon, in Bombay. They flopped. What they didn't realize is Hero Motors or Hero Honda then sold their lowest end model in urban cities and sold their top end model in rural cities. If you have 3 cars, why would you need a motorcycle? You need a motorcycle probably to go to a grocery shop or you drop your kid to a bus stop. Would you need a high-end bike or a low-end bike? This is the social infrastructure we live in this country with a per capita income of $1,800. Innovation needs to be seen from that perspective. If we don't, companies will go extinct. We cannot copy a country, a culture. We have to be self-sufficient innovation. Steel has been the cornerstone of human civilization. As a kid, when we grew up, what do we see? Man discovered fire and man discovered an axe. I don't know where the axe came from. Hunting axe or a hunting arrow or a hunting whatever it is, but it was steel. American Iron and Steel Institute was founded in 1881. I've had the honor of being part of some of the meetings. It's a 140-year-old institution. And what they say is shocking. Steel is the most inventive and least innovating of all the composite materials today on the planet. Even wood industry is more innovating than steel industry. It is more inventive. We invent processes. We invent intertwining performance of steel, but we have not innovated to where we want to be. And on the sustainable side, we are responsible for depleting most of the zincs that is available in the planet. Or for matter of fact, all of the metals. Why is it that we still have to think that if we don't have more zinc, we don't have more performance? It's not about, I'm giving you an example of metal coating because that's the industry I come from. That's the electrogalvanizing concern. You apply zinc on a hot dip process, you apply a minimum of 60 grams per square meter. You apply through electrogalvanizing process, you can do 0. You do through a thermal diffusion zinc process, not a vapor process, thermal diffusion zinc, you can go to sub-gram. Now let me tell you, if you were a supplier to aerospace industry or nuclear industry, the caveat is, they would only accept a product which is produced by thermal diffusion zinc. So is zinc the performer or is the process the performer? Is technology the performer or is that technology innovation which gives you that result? A thermally diffused zinc steel component passes 8,000 hours of salt spread. 8,000 hours. And there's less zinc. How do we become more sustainable? How do we become more green? And what is that innovation pitch? You need to dream. We need to dream. What will we be remembered for? It's like saying Professor Muhammad Yunus got the Nobel Prize for starting microfinance because he started the Grameen Bank in 1996. Since 1996 to 2019, they've given more than $300 billion in loan in increments of $15. It never went for a federal dispensation or a subsidy. Professor Muhammad Yunus had a vision of innovation, and he said, poverty elevation. Let me create a museum where you take a boy, a kid, a child, and say, this was poverty. He went to the town square of Dhaka, hired 10 beggars,